Well, it's another hazy and humid afternoon here in southern New England. It's not particularly hot. That's coming tomorrow, but it's, as my mother used to say, a little close. Humidity's around 71% right now. So join me with a tasty beverage of your choice close to hand while we take a look at some 2, 3, 4, and 5-year Hoya updates. Before we get all of that underway, I'd like to take this opportunity to send out a special thanks to someone who bought me coffees this week. Your contributions to my channel go a long way in helping keep me in Hoya and Dischidia, technology, infrastructure, and all the other stuff that make these videos possible. So I thank you all very much for your support. And the first one up today, this particular plant has been here for 2 years. And this is Hoya rotundiflora. Now, rotundiflora is native to Myanmar. It was first collected in 2009 by Toril Nijhuis and published in 2011 in Phytotaxa by Michaela Roda and Nathaniel Simonson. And this is not the first one of these plants I have had. I had another one, and I thought it was going to die. So I took some cuttings of it, and I wasn't sure about them. And I ordered this one. So this was to replace the other one, but those cuttings did fairly well. Actually, they're hanging out over here someplace. And since I had 2 of them, I decided that I would send one up a trellis and I would let the other one trail. And this is the one that went up the trellis, clearly. And it has done really, really well this year. Yeah, it's just grown like crazy. Everybody's growing like crazy in the plant room. I can't keep ahead of the watering because it's been so warm. The plants are using up moisture like crazy, and they're getting into everybody else's business. But this is a really pretty plant. I really like the leaves on this one. They've got kind of this look like it's hammered metal, that kind of a finish. Now this one's looking a little thirsty. Because like I said, I could water for an hour a day, every day, and still not keep ahead of the plant room right now. So we're doing what we can. But I think the leaves are really, really neat. I think that shape is very cool. I think the look of them is very cool. I'll put some close-ups over here. Yeah, they seem fairly glabrous. They don't seem fuzzy at all. Perhaps a little bit, very little bit, but I can just see it on the tops of some of the leaves, but you don't feel it if you touch them. And so far, having 2 of these now, these have been no trouble at all. They've just been great. No issues, no trauma, no drama. Just happily doing their rotundiflora thing, getting into everybody's. To get ready for the video this week, I had to extricate plants from almost everything that you'll see today grew into something else. And yeah, it's just been doing great. It's nice and warm and humid. And if I can if I can do better with the watering, then I think everybody's going to be happier. But we're doing what we can. This one came from the Hoya Trove on Etsy. And this is Hoya rotundiflora. The next one up has been here for 2 years also. And I think for me, it's one of the prettiest Hoyas out there. And that's Hoya sungwookii. Now, Hoya sungwookii is native to Vietnam from Con Hoa province and Nha Trang. It was first collected in 2023 and published in 2024 in Trzaninoia by Leonid Vladimirovich Averyanov, Bois Trong, and Pham Nhu Ham. And it was named after Mr. Sungwookii, who found the plant and presented it to those researchers for their study. And I think those leaves are just beautiful. I know I say just a lot, but there's no sense in going crazy with adjectives when the leaves speak for themselves. Very, very pretty. Yeah, this one has been, again, no trouble, no problems. The only problem I had was getting these vines from here, clear on out to there, getting these vines out of where they'd gotten into. They joined up with another plant and wound around each other and were going off on a little adventure where I did not want them to go. So we spent a couple minutes backing everyone out, and man, those are just pretty. Those are just pretty leaves. I like the shape. I like the splash. I like that this has been such a good grower. Most of the plants, most of my Hoyas, when I move them into pond and self-watering, and this one's growing in my standard pond mix in the self-watering pot. Let's see if we can get, oh, it's got a very healthy root system, would probably like to be potted. Maybe we'll deal with that soon. There we go. No grabbing onto Grandpa. Yeah, it's just been not any difficulty once it got settled in. It just has been growing steadily. It has put up with less than ideal watering. It's looking pretty good right now because I just did that section of the plant room the other day. But it's just been a grower, what everybody wants, a grower and a shower. So yeah, it has not bloomed for me yet, but we're okay. I mean, it's putting on its own little show here of just beautiful, beautiful leaves. I like the color of the leaves. I like the splash, everything about them. A cool plant. It's currently growing under one of my Sansi clip-on lights, which is about, I'm going to say, at least 12 inches or 30 centimeters above it. It seems to appreciate that light. Earlier on, I had it in a different location and it got too close to the grow light and the leaves looked a little pale. And since I've moved it over there to the new location, it seems happier. It just seems to be doing better. I like the color of the leaves better, everything about it. This is a really pretty plant. I would say that this is one to look for. If that appeals to you, struggling with the vines. If the look of those leaves appeals to you, then this is definitely one to look for. It should not be insanely expensive. It might be a little difficult to find. Not that it's rare, because we don't use that word because it doesn't mean anything. But I don't see it come up for sale very often. But look around if you like the look of this, because this has just been a good one. No, I've got no complaints, no trauma, no drama, no issues, nothing but good stuff to say about this. And this is 2 years worth of growth. So yeah, we're okay. I got to do some trellising, but we're okay. Pretty plant, very, very pretty plant. This one came from Cactus and Exotics on Etsy. And this is my Hoya sungwookii. Next one up is a Hoya relative. This is Dischidia hirsuta. Now, Dischidia hirsuta is native to Cambodia, to Kalimantan, Java, Papua and Sulawesi and Sumatra in Indonesia, to Laos, to Malaya, Sabah and Sarawak in Malaysia, to Myanmar, Papua New Guinea, and in Papua New Guinea to New Guinea, the Bismarck Archipelago, the Philippines, the Solomon Islands, Thailand, Vanuatu, and Vietnam. And it was first discovered by Westerners in Malaya and Burma, probably on that peninsula. It was first published in 1844 in Prodromus Systematis Naturalis Regni Vegetabilis, or the Prodrome of the Natural System of the Vegetable Kingdom, by Carl Ludwig von Blume and Joseph de Caine. And his last name is Decaisne, so I'm guessing de Caine. If you know better, let me know. And the name comes from the Latin word hirsuta, which means shaggy. And man, this has just been a good little plant. It's just, I like this one. Just everything about this appeals to me. I'll put some close-up of the leaves because they're very, very cool. They are fuzzy, hence the name, the hirsuta shaggy. Hirsute sometimes is used to mean hairy as well, but they have that similar kind of look as the rotundiflora with that kind of hammered effect. There's a slightly raised central vein and some side veins. And they are plump. They're not flat and curved like, a Hoya leaf might be. They're plump. So yeah, they're just doing really well. And I think for 2 years, this one's doing okay. I think it's going to be a really, really pretty plant. Yeah, it seems fine with branching. At this point, because the leaves are somewhat succulent, they hold a certain amount of moisture, so it seems less susceptible to my somewhat inconsistent watering sometimes. Seems better able to handle that. And, it's just a cool little leaf. I haven't seen it bloom yet. It has not bloomed for me. I'm guessing it's going to be like most other Dischidia blossoms, very tiny and sort of trumpety shaped. But we'll take pictures of that when it happens. But like most of the other Dischidia I have, I hardly recommend them. They're just such great little plants and they look really cool. Just kind of like spilling off a bookshelf or something like that. So yeah, this one is growing in my standard pond mix in a self-watering pot. I looked earlier and there's nothing coming through the bottom yet. It is growing on the front of my desk in the plant room, so it is about, I'm going to say 5 feet, which is like 150 or so centimeters, 155 centimeters away from a southeast facing window. So it gets a little bit, very tiny little bit of early morning sun in the summer in the northern hemisphere. It gets a little bit more in the winter. The sun's at a lower angle and it reaches further into the room. But it's not under a particular grow light. It's just in the ambient conditions in the plant room. So it seems okay with that. And I'm happy with how that's doing. Yeah, and again, no difficulties, no trauma, no drama, nothing special. It'll be happy in your house. If you're into Dischidia or just discovering them, this is one of the ones I would recommend as a starter. This one came from Plants Are Life Shop on Etsy, and this is Dischidia hirsuta. This next one has been here for 3 years, and that's my Hoya clemensiorum. Now, clemensiorum is native to the island of Borneo, which means the Kingdom of Brunei, and Kalimantan and Sabah. And it was first published in 2001 in Fraterna by Ted Green, and it is named after J. and M.S. Clemens, who were collectors in that area in the 1930s near Mount Kinabalu. And it's considered to be part of the Finlaysoniae, Calistophylla, Meredithae, Clemensiorum complex. They have similar characteristics. I didn't know if I was going to like this when I first ordered it, but I have really grown to appreciate this plant. It is funky. It is just cool. So very cool. If I keep steady with the watering, it grows pretty well. If I find myself falling into less than ideal watering habits, then it just slows down a little bit. The stems are woody from the very beginning. The leaves are credit card rigid. They will snap if you try and bend them, so don't do that stupid thing. They're somewhat pubescent on the underside. They're probably pubescent on the top side as well, although it just doesn't, you can't feel it as much. And I should have a picture of what it looked like when it first showed up. And it was probably just this inner leaf here, and maybe that was all. I don't remember. Maybe this other leaf. But in 3 years, it has done really well. It took it a while to get established. Once I settled it in my standard pond mixture and a self-watering pot. It's got a little bit of a root system. So it's done okay. It has bloomed. I should have pictures of the blooms over here, if not now, at some point. And it's just done really well. There is a central raised vein, and there are side veins, and they are all raised, and there is a little bit of splash. See if I can I hope that's showing up well under the lights. But it's very, very cool. Even the other side of the leaves, the underside, see if I can turn that into the light a bit more. It's very, very neat. I thought this was going to be a bit fussier for some reason. I don't know why, but I had that feeling about it. But it has proven that that's not the case. It just does really well. And it looks cool doing it. It has a whole very much prehistoric pterodactyl dinosaur kind of quality to it that I just really like. Now, I told you what it's growing in. It's growing in front. It's on the floor in front. That probably blew the speakers out. In front of one of my grow shelf setups. So it's, let's say, 1 foot to 1.5 feet, or 30 to 45 centimeters away from where the grow light actually is. And it seems to like that location. The leaves are nice, dark color. They don't look at all washed out or chlorotic. The only thing you have to do with this one is keep an eye on the new leaves coming in, because it will need some kind of trellis, however you choose to do that. But you don't want the leaf, as this one did, to get stuck in the trellis. You want it to have plenty of room to, reach out and grow out nice and long. So that's the only thing to keep an eye on with this one. But again, it's survived my care for 3 years, so it's not difficult. It's not fussy. It's in ambient conditions. It might like something a little more humid. It might like to be watered on a much more regular basis, but we're doing what we can. So, and it's living with that. I'm happy about that. I should probably try and get that. I wonder if I can do that without get that leaf out of there. After all my talk about keeping an eye on the leaves. Come on. There we go. And let's see if we can get this one out of here. Oof, there we go. Even better. So, it's probably not going to like being at that angle. I'll have to figure out something to make it happy. Oh, there we go. Sometimes you just have to kind of like listen and see what the plant is telling you it wants. And then we have a discussion about what I want. And then we just ignore that because that's how things go. There, that's better. That's better. This is just a really cool plant. If you want something kind of neat and funky and that doesn't, when they tell you that all Hoyas look alike, yeah, well, no, they don't. This has been really fun. I like this one. Yeah, definitely worth looking for. This one came from Nest Tropicals on their website, and this is Hoya clemensiorum. This handsome plant has been here for 3 years, and this is my Hoya subquintuplinervis, outer variegated, sometimes sold as New Moon. Now, Hoya subquintuplinervis is native to Thailand. It was first published in 1869 in Annales Musei Botanici Lugdunno-Batavii, or the Annals of the Botanical Museum of Lyon-Batavii, by Friedrich Anton Wilhelm Michel. And this is just, I think, just a really, really pretty plant. It has done very well. My experience has been that it's not a rampant grower, but it is a steady grower. And that variegation is just really, really nice. It's very, very pretty. It hasn't given me any problems. It's been sturdy. It's been steady. It has put up with a certain amount of underwatering without complaint. It has bloomed, and with luck, I have pictures of the blooms for over here. I may even have a picture of what it looked like when it first showed up, and if I do, I'll put it in, and if I don't, I won't. But it has done very well. If I keep the watering regular, it grows very dense. And then it got to a point, when I didn't keep the water as regular, where it was searching for light. And so it sent out this, well, I've got it tied up right now, but this section of the vine. No troubles. I mean, it's just great. The leaves are thick and they're rigid. They're like credit card rigid. They're not going to bend at all for you. Yeah, there's a slightly recessed central rib, a slightly recessed side ribs, as you might be able to see in that. There's a little bit of, for lack of a better term, quilting to the leaves, so they've got like abs, sort of. But it does very, very well. Again, it's not demanding, it's not prissy. It's in my standard pond mixture in a self-watering pot. And it's got an okay root system. Yeah. It's currently living on the floor in front of 2 grow lights. So it's not right in front of one of the grow shelves, but it's in between the 2 of them. I think it might want a little bit more light, but it has put out this new section of vine just recently. So perhaps I need to do something like that and let it think it's a bit more stable. It probably wants a little bit more light, but it's doing okay. I think the color of the leaves is really great. So yeah, I'm happy with this one. No complaints. I'm glad I got it, and this is one I would keep just for the way it looks. That's very cool. This one came from Cactus and Exotics on Etsy, and this is Hoya subquintuplinervis, outer variegated new moon. In case some of you noticed that it's suddenly gotten rather dark outside, I filmed this video over the course of 2 days, and this is the result of the Canadian wildfires and the smoke that are drifting our direction. So yeah, it's been like a cloudy, getting ready to rain day all day. What can you do? And the next one up, that's been here for 4 years, is my Hoya species MA03. Now, MA03, or MA, is the accession code for Hermann, Mr. Hermann, sometimes known as. And that's all I've been able to find out about him. He's a breeder and collector in Indonesia. And the code M comes from his last name, Hermann, the M in man. And the A is for Anjuk Ladang, where he resides and does his collecting, where he's based. So this is a hybrid, and the map will show that it is located in Anjuk Ladang in East Java in Indonesia. And to my eye, it's something of a verticillata hybrid. It's got, if I can do this right, rather pretty leaves, with a dark margin around the edge. And to me, they just look like verticillata. It hasn't bloomed for me yet, although there is a peduncle up there. So maybe, but it has grown like crazy this spring and early summer. So yeah, I had to weave this one out of my, it was up in the Brahmanica, and happily heading off into no Hoya land. So we pulled it out and we gave it a drink. It's time for this to be repotted. This little self-watering pot is not large enough to hold enough moisture for a plant of this size. And this has done fairly well. It's a little thirsty looking, but that's because I can't keep enough water in here. Between keeping enough water and not overwatering so that I encourage root rot, which is not something I want to do, yeah, it's a bit of a puzzle and a process. So I need to move this in the near future. I hate uppotting pots because it usually goes fairly well, but sometimes it can go south pretty quick. So we'll keep our fingers crossed. Maybe I'll even take a cutting or two beforehand. That's a good idea. Note to self. Take a cutting or two before I uppot it, just in case it doesn't go well. But yeah, this one's done okay. With more light, the leaves get a much paler green, and the outer margins become a little bit stronger, but I can't, it's like growing right underneath a grow light, so it can't get much more light. Not that I can give it. So this one came from the Hoya girl on Etsy, and this is Hoya species MA03. And another 4-year resident is my Hoya incrassata, outer variegated. Now this one, I like this plant. I think the leaves can be absolutely beautiful, but we're still working on our relationship. Now, Hoya incrassata is native to the Philippines. It was first published in 1904-1905 in Fragmenta Florae Philippinae by Otto Warburg. And You'll see variations of this. There's a solid green one, there's an inner variegated, and this is the outer variegated. And the leaves are just, when you get a good one, it's a good one. The only comment I'll make about this, the only caveat is that if it gets a little dry, it gets pouty. It'll wrinkle right up on you. But give it a drink and it bounces back. Not quickly, but it does bounce back. The variegation seems to be a slow developing thing. Like, I think this is going to get a lot more variegation along the outside edges, but it's going to take its time doing it. This leaf has been here for a while. And so it's a nice plant. It's got a neat shape. It's sort of an elongated teardrop. It sometimes develops little abs if the watering is more consistent than mine has been of late. But it's been pretty good. I also have an inner variegated one, and that one and I are really not getting along. It's thrown out a whole bunch of new leaves. It's growing really well, but only one of the new leaves has any kind of variegation. So this one at least has been consistent in putting out variegated leaves in one form or another. So yeah, that's okay. The leaves are firm, almost to credit card firm. They'll take a tiny little bit of a bend, but not much else. There's a recessed central rib and some recessed side ribs. And yeah, it's doing okay. It's doing okay. So it likes a decent amount of light. It likes regular access to moisture. It's putting out, oh, cool. It's putting out a new vine. I don't know if you'll be able to see it down in there. So that's good. That must mean I've been being better about the watering. But yeah, an interesting plant, nice shaped leaves. It hasn't been any difficulty other than, wanting a supply of moisture. Between these thinnish, firm leaves and the woody stems, it probably doesn't hold too much water. So, it wants access to it regularly or steadily. But yeah, it's been a good plant. No issues, no trouble. This one came from Plants Wake You Up, and this is Hoya incrassata outer variegated. Has got to be Hoya caudata flagellata. Now, Hoya caudata is native to Thailand, and this particular species, and I believe that Hoya flagellata has been synonymized into caudata. I may be wrong, but that was the last thing I saw on it. This particular species was first collected in Thailand, and it was published in 1837 in Hooker's Icones Plantarum, Plant Icons or Figures with Brief Descriptive Characters and Remarks of New or Rare Plants by William Jackson Hooker, who was the father of Joseph Dalton Hooker. I was trying to think of where I was going to start with this plant. This is a great plant. If you like that sort of caudata-esque look, this is a great plant. This has given me no grief, no trouble, no problems. The leaves are firm like a caudata or a clemensiorum. They are fuzzy on the bottom, slightly fuzzy on the top. They've got a little bit of an undulate edge. There's a little bit of splash on some of the leaves. And once this thing gets going, it blooms like crazy. It blooms regularly. It blooms steadily. I mean, you can sort of see all the peduncles, and it just keeps on blooming for me. It's been a great plant. It is fairly tolerant of underwatering and all the other lapses in great care that I occasionally give it. just a good plant. It's pretty hardy, at least that's been my experience. Grows like a weed, doesn't demand much. It's in my standard pond and self-watering. It's in ambient conditions, ambient humidity. It lives about 6 to 12 inches or 7 to 15 centimeters below the grow light. The top leaves do not look washed out or chlorotic. I may have a picture of what it looked like when it first showed up over here. And man, it's just been a great plant. No difficulties at all. I mean, it's survived my tender care for 4 years. So yeah, nothing but good to say about it. I should even have pictures of the blooms. As I've said, it blooms regularly. And if you look at those peduncles, it's bloomed frequently. They're all like that. It just grows. It's happy, it grows, it doesn't demand anything. I can't say enough good things about it. If you like that caudata look, if you like that clemensiorum look, although this is not as much of a character as clemensiorum, but if you like that approach, then this is definitely one worth looking for, because it's just been no trouble at all. It didn't take it long to get settled in, and it just grows. It's just been so cool. No complaints with this one. Yeah, I like the leaves. Everything about it. Can't say enough good things about this. This one came from Gabriella Plants on their website, and this is Hoya caudata flagellata. And the next one, who's been here for 4 years, is my Hoya mirabilis. Now, mirabilis is native to Thailand. It was first collected in 2011 near Ratchaburi, near Suan Phuong, and it was published in 2012 in Tropical Natural History by Manit Kidyu. And I saw this online and I thought it was kind of interesting. And so I ordered one, and this is the one that came from Hawaii. And I've told the story before, but I think they just had it in a pot and they gave it a good drink and put the pot in a box and shipped it off and didn't bother to secure it, because when it arrived, there was mud all over the inside of the box. All the soil was out of the pot. The plant was out of the soil. And I did not think it was going to survive. And let's just say I was beside myself with disappointment. And it took this one a while to recover from that. And it's turned into this amazing little plant. It's just beautiful. I have 2 of them. This was the first one I got, and then I decided to send it up a trellis because I love the way those peduncles hang. But I'd also seen pictures of it trailing. So the other one I have trailing. So I have one going each way. This is I think it's so cool. I really, really like the look of that. It's not demanding. It's got a decent little root system. It has bloomed for me, so I should have pictures of the blooms over here. I don't think I have a picture of what it looked like when it first showed up, because I was not in the mood to take pictures when I opened that box. But it's doing very well. It's the growth pattern sort of reminds me of bonsai. I don't know why that's what comes to my mind, but that's what it does. It looks great on a trellis. It looks great trailing. So either way, I think is very, very cool. I think those leaves, let's see if I can, those long, narrow leaves are very, very interesting. Where's my, I don't know where that handy dandy measuring tape goes when I need it, but it's not here. Anyway, it's just done very well. I think it's definitely worth investigating. It appears that it will sun stress a little bit, but I'm not sure on, I'm sure it's sun stressing. I can't decide whether I like that or not. So I might have to find another location for it that's not, where the light's not quite as intense, because I don't know, that's getting a little purpley, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure. A little bit of splash on the leaves, a little bit of interesting growth habit, lots and lots of blooms when it blooms, and it's a cool plant. Again, this is another one that should not be difficult to find. It should not be terribly expensive, and it has done it's sort of like a mini clemensiorum, but that's not its official name, and don't go calling that. But it's got that same kind of interesting vibe to it. So yeah, I like this one. I'm glad this one survived and is doing really well. This one came from that unknown seller in Hawaii. And yeah, this is cool. This is Hoya mirabilis. Another 4-year resident is my Hoya phuwuaensis. Now, phuwuaensis is native to Thailand and Vietnam, and it was first collected in 2008 in Phu Wa Wildlife Sanctuary in Thailand, and published in 2016 in Phytotaxa by, again, Manit Kidyu. And this is another one of those, nothing but good stuff to say about it. The leaves are very pretty. They have a little bit of splash in them. The older leaves are credit card firm. They're not going to take well to bending. This one is just getting ready to bloom again. It's not quite there yet, but it's getting ready to bloom. There's 3 peduncles getting ready to bloom. And this one has just grown. This is a grower and a shower. It didn't take it very long to get established. I have it growing in my standard pond, self-watering pot. It's got a fairly healthy root system. As I said, it didn't take long to get it established, and then it just started growing, and it bloomed early on. And the blooms are very much like caudata blooms. They're probably related somehow, but the blooms are pendant. And I actually should have pictures of the blooms over here on the side for you, because I'm sure in 4 years I have taken the opportunity to get pictures. One would hope. I may even have a picture of what it looked like when it showed up, and I'll put it over here on the side when there's a good chance to do that. Yeah. Highly recommend this one. This one has just done so well. It has tolerated my underwatering and possibly overwatering. It lives in ambient conditions, in ambient humidity. It hasn't given me any difficulties, no problems, no hissy fits, no nothing. And, when it gets going, it just grows like crazy. You just keep wrapping it around. Yeah, the leaves are slightly pubescent. There's no real raised veins. They're sort of V-shaped. And, that nice dark green color, that little bit of splash on them, I think makes them really handsome. And cool because it's just done so well for me. This one's currently living on the floor in front of one of my grow shelf setups, so it's 12 to 15 inches to the side of a grow bulb, when that should be 30 to 45 centimeters from the grow bulb, if I did my math correctly. Not always a given thing. And yeah, no issues. Good plant, hardy, sturdy, handsome, grows well, doesn't demand too much of anything. The leaves, because of their firmness, are probably not terribly succulent, and the vines are woody from the get-go. So it's probably not storing too much water, which is why it does want regular access to moisture, but it's not going to get too bent out of shape if it's a few days late on that. But it's done, in 4 years, I think it's done really, really well. I like this plant very much because it hasn't disappointed me at all. So this one came from the Planted Veteran on Etsy, and this is my Hoya phuwuaensis. And next up, might not look like much, but I'm happy it's still here, is my Hoya sipitangensis. Now, sipitangensis is native to North and Northwest Borneo. It was discovered near Sipitang in Sarawak. It was first published in 2002 in Fraterna by Dale Kloppenberg and Eva Karen Viberg. And Eva Karen Viberg is the person who collected it at Sipitang. And I used to have a big, beautiful plant of this. And then suddenly it decided to unalive itself. And I caught it before it was completely successful and took one cutting. And right now, I don't know if you can see in there, but it's ready to get potted up. So I'm going to put it back in my standard pond mixture, in a self-watering pot, probably a hanging one, and let this trail and see if we can't get it back up to the lush, beautiful plant it was. When it was doing really well, it was, again, no trouble. I had it growing under grow lights on one of my hanging plant setups. So it was probably, I'm going to say, a foot, maybe. So maybe 6 inches to a foot, so 15 to 30 centimeters from the grow bulb. And it was not any problem until suddenly it just decided it gave up the ghost. It no longer had the will to live. I'm glad I got the cutting of it because it had done so well for me. So we're going to get this one potted up in the next few days. I rooted the cutting in my standard setup, a little glass jar so I can see what's going on. I stretched cling film or saran wrap over the top, poked a hole in it and put the cutting in. I like stretching the saran wrap over the top. It keeps the moisture inside from evaporating as quickly and creates a slightly more humid environment for the roots to get settled in. But yeah, we're going to get this one back again. I'm glad it's doing well. This one also came originally from the Planted Veteran on Etsy, and this is Hoya sipitangensis. Another 4-year resident is this Hoya verticillata. Now, verticillata is native to Bangladesh, Bhutan, Brunei, Cambodia, South Central and Southeast China and Hainan Island, to the Andaman and Nicobar Islands and Assam in India, to Java, Kalimantan, the Lesser Sunda Islands, Sulawesi, and Sumatra in Indonesia, to Laos, Malaya, Sabah, and Sarawak in Malaysia, Myanmar, the Philippines, Sri Lanka, Taiwan, Thailand, and Vietnam. And as a species, this was first published in 1821 in Revisiones Plantarum Succulentarum, or Reviews of Succulent Plants by Adrian Hardy Howarth. And the word verticillata, or the name verticillata, comes from the Latin verticillatus, meaning whorled or whorl. Whorl, W-H-O-R-L, no. And I bought this one with the name Black Margin. And we've had kind of a love-hate relationship. I think that the hate part of it has, well, not hate, but neglect, has been on my part. When it first arrived, and I may have a picture of that over here, I moved it into, it was in kind of a soil, a peaty soil mix, and so I moved it out of that into bark and a net pot with a cover pot. And, whoops, no, don't go, out, there we go. And it did okay, it grew, but then, as is the case I found with the net pot and the bark sphagnum mixture, it simply doesn't hold enough moisture to support a plant of this size. So this plant has been constantly thirsty for several years, and I need to fix that. I need to take this all apart and clean off the roots, because I don't think, yeah, the roots are minimal. So I don't think clearing off the bark and sphagnum would be a detriment. And I think getting it into pon and a self-watering pot, a larger self-watering pot, would be a really good thing for this plant. Because it is pretty when all is going well, but yeah, it hasn't been that way for a while, so I need to fix that. It's just sometimes up potting or changing the potting on a plant this size can be, it's time consuming. You have to unhook it from the trellis and then clean off. And there's there's probably maybe four vines in here. So clean it all off and then rework it up. And it can take a good hour, hour and a half, because I try and take my time and not rush it. I don't want to snap off any leaves. I don't want to do any more root damage than I'm going to. But I need to fix this because it deserves to be better off. So yeah, it hasn't been any difficulty. It does require a decent amount of moisture. The leaves are flexible. There's a slightly recessed central rib and raised side ribs, and I've got some close-ups of the leaves, the better looking ones. I just need to do a better job by this plant, because it could be really pretty. It's growing right now in bark and sphagnum and a net pot with a cover pot. It's growing about 12 inches or 15, 16 centimeters below a grow light. So that's what we got going on with it. I think it has wanted to bloom, but there just hasn't been. There's a peduncle right in here with some spent dried buds on it. I think it wants to bloom. There's not enough moisture for it. So I'm going to fix that. Maybe this weekend I'll sit down and actually do that, clean it all up and get it happy again. But other than my neglect, it hasn't been any difficulty at all. So no bad things to say about this one. This one came from Gabriella Plants on their website, and this is Hoya, and I believe it's a verticillata black margin. plant that's been here for 5 years, and this is a Hoya krohniana. Now, krohniana is native to the Philippines, and as a species was first published in 2009 in Fraterna, Official Bulletin for the International Hoya Association by Robert Dale Kloppenberg. And I bought this with the, let's say, species name, Hoya krohniana Eskimo. And the first time I used that term, oh, did people jump down my throat. So it has mostly now been referred to as, I believe, as Hoya krohniana super splash. So I'm not going to use that other term because I don't want to get yelled at again. That's the term under which I bought it, or under which it was sold. So the leaves are just beautiful. They're lovely dark green with a nice amount of splash. Some of them have more. Some of them are almost silver. And it has done, I like lacunosa. I like krohniana as well. This has been just a sturdy little beast. It's tolerated being underwatered at times. It's tolerated. It took me a while to find a good place for it in terms of light. Now, right now, it doesn't get a lot of light. It gets a good amount, but it's not. There's a plant growing above it. So it's in kind of the fallout, the second tier of light. The leaves that are growing down here have a good amount of splash to them. They're a beautiful dark green color. And they look like krohniana leaves, which sort of resemble lacunosa leaves. They are sort of an elongated teardrop with a slightly raised central vein and a couple of side veins, a couple of abs, divot abs, and just beautiful color. This one, I may have a picture of what it looked like when it first arrived. I don't know because I didn't think I'd be doing this then, so I may not have been documenting everything. I mean, I know I wasn't documenting everything. I don't know if I documented this one. It has bloomed for me, and I, with luck, have pictures of the blooms I can put in over here. But even if it hadn't, it's a great little plant. It has branched. This particular vine has branched twice. It puts up with underwatering. It puts up with overwatering. It's just done really well. You know, I like krohniana. They're a good little. You should have a krohniana in your collection. If you're collecting Hoyas, you should have a krohniana. Doesn't matter which one. I have a krohniana black. I have this one. I have a couple others. Doesn't matter. They're a good plant to have. They won't disappoint, and they're not whiny. They're not prissy. It'll just be a sturdy little beast for you. So yeah, I like this one. I like krohniana. And this one's been a good one for me. So I'm calling this Hoya krohniana Super Silver. And this one came from Tabitha's Terrarium on Etsy. And so now we have the question for the comments. So the last couple weeks I've been trying to mix things up, showing you stuff other than Hoyas and their Hoya relatives. And so my question is, should I keep mixing it up, or should I keep it to a strictly Hoya, Dischidia, Oreospart, Papua Hoya target? I know a lot of people come here just for the Hoya content, and I get that. I appreciate that. But I have 100 other plants that I'm having a good time with too. So I occasionally like to talk about those. So let me know which direction you think the content should go. Should it kind of stay the course and do what I've been doing, mixing it up a little bit, but keeping the Hoyas and Dischidia front and center? Or should we go for more of a mix? Let me know in the comments below, and we'll see what people think about that. I would appreciate hearing on that. So yeah. And as always, I want to thank you for choosing to spend a little bit of your time with me this week's end. Please remember that thumbs up like button, the subscribe button, the notification bell. And if you're on a mobile device, when you're done watching and adding your comment, please click on that hype button. All of those things help convince YouTube that my channel is worth recommending to other people, and it's your way of helping get the channel to grow. A lot of the products that you've seen me use are available in my Amazon storefront. There's a link in the description where you can scan this QR code to visit the storefront. I receive a small commission on the sales, but it doesn't increase your price at all, and it's a good other way of helping to support the channel. If you're in the market for grow lights, I have a relationship with the Sansi Corporation. There's a link to their website in the description where you can scan this QR code. There's a lot of really interesting products there, and I'm going to be talking about one of them in the near future. If you use this discount code at checkout, you'll receive a 30% discount from the prices you find there. Again, I receive a commission on the sales. It doesn't increase your price, and I've been really, really happy with my Sansi lights. They made a big difference in the plant room. They made a big difference last winter, and the new one that I'm going to be showing you in one of the next couple videos, I think is going to make a big difference in the den. So yeah, if you'd like to support the channel directly, there's a link in the description to my Buy Me a Coffee page, or you can scan this QR code with the camera app on your phone. Or if you'd like to work through YouTube, there's a thanks button down here. If you click on that, YouTube takes care of all that for you. As usual, I'm going to place links to a couple more videos over here on the side, videos you might enjoy, and please enjoy the rest of your week's end.